A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News on TV1. Bringing you the news this evening, I am Steven Machado.
And I'm Chalani Ratnavera. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
Kalatuava and Labugama water levels drop. Water supply to several areas in Colombo to be managed on a schedule. Trump threatens to hit Iran extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. Discussion between IMF representatives and the president commends economic progress achieved by Sri Lanka under the current government. Pillayan remanded after being held in detention for 359 days. SJB General Secretary says they do not agree with the content of Gamman Pilla's book.
On to your top story tonight. The National Water Supply and Drainage Board has decided to implement a scheduled water supply system for the Colombo district from today until the 10th of this month. The board stated that this measure was taken with the aim of preventing inconvenience to water consumers due to the dry weather conditions and avoid the need for suspending water supply for long periods daily.
The National Water Supply and Drainage Board stated that the water supply to Battaramulla, Pamankada, Vallavatta and Nawala will be suspended for 3 hours from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. on every other day. The board further said that the supply of water to Padukka, Homagama, Palanvatta and Panipitiya will be suspended for 24 hours from 8 p.m. followed by 3 days of continuous supply.
Initially, we are starting with the Padukka area. There are about 18,000 water connections there. We expect to implement a 24-hour water cut for those areas. After that, we will continue until 8 p.m. tomorrow night, which is the 3rd. Then we will provide water to them continuously for 4 days. We are scheduled to suspend the water supply to the Padukka area again only on the 7th. Similarly, by the 2nd day, which is the night of the 3rd, we will suspend the water supply to the Homagama area and then again to the Homagama area after 4 days. Next, the water cut for the Palanvatta will be in effect on the night of the 4th. After providing water continuously for 4 days, we are prepared to suspend the supply of water again on the 9th. Following that, for the Homagama area, after a 24-hour water cut from 8 p.m. on the 5th until 8 p.m. on the 6th, water will be provided until the 10th. This is how we have planned to reduce the supply of water through the reduction in output at the Labugama and Kalatuava reservoirs before the Sinhalese New Year.
We are still able to maintain the water supply from the Ambathale water treatment plant at a normal level. However, the water level in the river is receding. There has been no rain over the past few days. We have a particular problem with the Labugama and Kalatuava reservoirs. We extract 90,000 cubic meters of water per day from the Kalatuava reservoir. Our water availability there is now limited to only about 22 days. Similarly, the Labugama reservoir is limited to 50 days. Because of this, we have been forced to immediately reduce the amount of water we take from these reservoirs.
Move forward, Sri Lanka.
President Donald Trump used familiar talking points in his first address to the nation on the Iran war, telling Americans the conflict is nearing completion and projecting another 2 or 3 weeks of involvement. Trump signaled the U.S. is prepared to intensify its military response and threatened to take Iran back to the Stone Ages.
I've made clear from the beginning of Operation Epic Fury that we will continue until our objectives are fully achieved. Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly. We are going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. In the meantime, discussions are ongoing. Regime change was not our goal. We never said regime change, but regime change has occurred because of all of their original leaders' death. They're all dead. The new group is less radical and much more reasonable. Yet if during this period of time no deal is made, we have our eyes on key targets. If there is no deal, we are going to hit each and every one of their electric generating plants very hard and probably simultaneously. We have not hit their oil, even though that's the easiest target of all, because it would not give them even a small chance of survival or rebuilding. But we could hit it, and it would be gone, and there's not a thing they could do about it. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. Their radar is 100% annihilated. We are unstoppable as a military force. The nuclear sites that we obliterated with the B-2 bombers have been hit so hard that it would take months to get near the nuclear dust, and we have it under intense satellite surveillance and control. If we see them make a move, even a move for it, we'll hit them with missiles very hard again. We have all the cards, they have none. It's very important that we keep this conflict in perspective. American involvement in World War I lasted 1 year, 7 months, and 5 days. World War II lasted for 3 years, 8 months, and 25 days. The Korean War lasted for 3 years, 1 month, and 2 days. The Vietnam War lasted for 19 years, 5 months, and 29 days. Iraq went on for 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days. We are in this military operation, so powerful, so brilliant, against one of the most powerful countries for 32 days. And the country has been eviscerated and essentially is really no longer a threat. They were the bully of the Middle East, but they're the bully no longer.
US President Donald Trump also suggested countries that can't get fuel from Iran could buy oil from the United States of America.
The United States has never been better prepared economically to confront this threat. You all know that. We built the strongest economy in history. We're going through it right now, the strongest in history. In 1 year, we've taken a dead and crippled country. I hate to say that, but we were a dead and crippled country after the last administration and made it the hottest country anywhere in the world by far, with no inflation, record-setting investments coming into the United States, over $18 trillion, and the highest stock market ever, with 53 all-time record highs in just 1 year. It all positioned us to get rid of a cancer that has long simmered. It's known as the nuclear Iran, and they didn't know what was coming. They've never imagined it. Remember, because of our Drill Baby Drill program, America has plenty of gas. We have so much gas. Under my leadership, we are #1 producer of oil and gas on the planet, without even discussing the millions of barrels that we're getting from Venezuela. Because of the Trump administration's policies, we produce more oil and gas than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. Think of that, Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. And that number will soon be substantially higher than that. There's no country like us anywhere in the world, and we're in great shape for the future. The United States imports almost no oil through the Hormuz Strait and won't be taking any in the future. We don't need it. We haven't needed it, and we don't need it. We've beaten and completely decimated Iran. They are decimated, both militarily and economically and in every other way. And the countries of the world that do receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage. They must cherish it. They must grab it and cherish it. They can do it easily. We will be helpful, but they should take the lead in protecting the oil that they so desperately depend on. So to those countries that can't get fuel, many of which refuse to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, we had to do it ourselves. I have a suggestion. #1, buy oil from the United States of America. We have plenty. We have so much. And #2, build up some delayed courage. Should have done it before. Should have done it with us, as we asked. Go to the Strait and just take it, protect it, use it for yourself.
When the US launched strikes on Iran on the 28th of February, the administration had done remarkably little legwork in building a case for war or laying out its objectives. But it finally clarified the latter on the 2nd of March. At a briefing, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth described 4 objectives: destroy Iranian offensive missiles, destroy Iranian missile production, destroy their navy and other security infrastructure, and prevent them from ever having nuclear weapons. US President Donald Trump also confirmed this. Iran's response to America. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman has issued a statement in response to Trump's speech in which the US president warned that Iran must agree to a deal within 2 or 3 weeks or face strikes on every one of its power plants. Ismail Baghei said, quote-unquote, "We will not tolerate this vicious cycle of war, negotiations, ceasefire and then repeating the same pattern," describing the ongoing conflict as catastrophic not only for Iran but for the entire region and beyond. Baghei said Iran will continue to fight back for as long as US-Israeli strikes continue and reaffirmed that Tehran does not regard its Gulf neighbors as enemies. Meanwhile, Iran's president has written an open letter to America asking whether the Trump administration's war with his country is putting America first. Hours before US President Donald Trump gave his first national address on the Iran war, Masoud Pezeshkian wrote in the letter addressed to the people of the United States of America and posted on X late Wednesday, quote-unquote, "Exactly which of the American people's interests are truly being served by this war?" Pezeshkian asked, "Is America first truly among the priorities of the US government today?" India has abolished import tax on petrochemicals used for making plastics and pharmaceutical goods after the government invoked emergency powers and diverted local chemicals for production of cooking gas due to shortages caused by the Iran war. The import tax exemption on 40 products is valid till the 30th of June, according to a government statement. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday announced a sweeping package of emergency economic measures, including a price cap on imported rice, expanded fuel subsidies, and a suspension of the wholesale electricity market, as his administration moved to shield Filipino consumers from the ripple effects of the ongoing Middle East conflict. The president explained that the Department of Energy, the Philippine National Oil Company, and the PNOC Exploration Corporation have been empowered to act more swiftly in oil procurement. The PNOC-EC has already ordered 1.04 million barrels of diesel, with 142,000 barrels delivered this week and the remainder arriving in April. State and territory leaders in Australia have agreed to a further cut in the fuel excise, bringing hope of more relief at the bowser. The Commonwealth on Monday agreed to halve the fuel excise on petrol and diesel by 26.3 cents a litre in an effort to moderate rising prices. But National Cabinet was unable to agree on what states and territories should do with the additional GST revenue they were set to receive as a result of the higher cost of petrol and diesel. Bangladesh Power, Energy and Mineral Resources Minister Iqbal Hassan Mahmood on Thursday urged the country's people to pursue austerity in energy consumption and avoid panic buying, saying that the government is working to ensure a stable fuel and electricity supply despite global energy challenges. The minister said the government is supplying fuel across the country according to daily stock and distribution plans and is taking steps to maintain normal supply. Indonesia will hold off raising subsidized fuel prices despite ongoing oil shocks from the Iran war, with Finance Minister Purbayudhi Sadeva warning any hike could undermine growth and threaten social stability. In an exclusive interview, Purbaya said the government will instead rely on a mix of fiscal measures, including broad 10% cuts to ministry spending and a potential new export tax on coal to absorb the hit while keeping the deficit below its legal limit. Leaders of 35 countries recently signed a joint statement in which they said they were willing to contribute to appropriate efforts to ensure safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz. Foreign media reported that many of their foreign ministers will take part in a virtual summit around lunchtime. The remit is to discuss viable diplomatic and political solutions to reopen the route. While the UK, France, Germany, Australia and Gulf states were virtual attendees at the summit, crucially, the US was not.
Spokesperson for the Ministry of External Affairs in India briefed the press on supply of fuel by India to countries in the region.
On Bangladesh, as you would have seen, we continue to supply energy requirements to them since 2007 as per the commercial engagement that we have with them. We've also recently supplied fuel to Sri Lanka, 38,000 metric tons of petroleum products based on their request. Also, we have ongoing engagement with Nepal and Bhutan, which continue. So, as also we have some request for supply, not request exactly, but the government of Maldives has also reached out to us for supply of petroleum products, both on short-term and long-term basis. These requests are, the Maldives request, it's being examined, keeping in mind our own availability, on own needs. We also remain engaged with the governments of Mauritius and Seychelles on the energy situation in these two countries. We have not received any request for them as yet. So that is how the situation is in a neighborhood.
A visiting delegation from the International Monetary Fund met with President Kumar Dissanayake at the Presidential Secretariat today to discuss Sri Lanka's ongoing economic reform program and progress under the IMF-supported Extended Fund Facility.
During the discussions, attention was drawn to the current status of Sri Lanka in relation to the 5th and 6th review of the IMF program, with the IMF delegation engaging the President on recent developments and progress achieved. The IMF representatives commended the economic progress achieved by Sri Lanka under the present government, particularly noting that the country has transitioned towards a more resilient economic footing through the achievement of growth targets, improved revenue management and the strengthening of foreign reserves. Discussions also focused on how Sri Lanka could continue to advance within the IMF program without undermining the economic stability that has been established thus far. It was further noted that the ongoing conflict situation in the Middle East poses an external challenge, the impact of which on Sri Lanka cannot be entirely avoided. However, the government has been managing the situation prudently, taking measured decisions to address pressures on fuel prices and the energy sector, while ensuring that targeted relief is provided to vulnerable groups. In the face of these external challenges, the IMF delegation also appreciated the government's program aimed at safeguarding economic progress while effectively managing both the economy and the livelihoods of the people. Responding to the IMF's observations, President Dissanayake stated that Sri Lanka has met all targets set under the program and has reached a position of relative stability. He highlighted the need to take all necessary measures to minimize the impact on the public. On to some more international news. NASA has successfully launched the Artemis II mission, marking the first crewed mission to the moon's vicinity since the Apollo program ended in 1972.
9, 8, 7, RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1, booster ignition. And liftoff.
The launch followed a tense countdown as engineers worked through several technical issues. Teams closely monitored the rocket during refueling due to hydrogen leaks that had delayed the mission in the past. But no major leaks were detected on launch day. Engineers also resolved last-minute problems involving battery sensors and the rocket's flight termination system, a critical safety system used to destroy the rocket if it goes off course, before clearing the mission for liftoff. The 32-story rocket lifted off in the early evening in front of large crowds gathered near the launch site. The crew are now on a mission that will take them around the moon and back to Earth.
And COSE, do we have lock now?
That's affirmed. We do have lock for COSE.
While Artemis II will not land on the moon, it will fly a free return trajectory that swings around it to prove the spacecraft can sustain a crew on future missions. The idea is to descend to the surface of the Earth's only natural satellite again on Artemis IV in 2028. The launch had been planned for as early as the 6th of February and then 6th of March, until a hydrogen leak prompted NASA to roll the rocket back to its vehicle assembly building for scrutiny. It had earlier been scheduled for November 2024, but NASA announced a delay due to technical investigations, particularly into the Orion's heat shield.
Guidance converged, performance nominal,
Who is part of the Artemis II mission? All three NASA astronauts are veterans of Earth orbit science expeditions to the International Space Station, while the lone Canadian joining them on a voyage around the moon and back is a spaceflight rookie. The crew include Reed Wiseman, Commander Victor Glover, pilot Christina Koch, 47 mission specialist, and Jeremy Hansen, also a mission specialist. When will the mission reach the moon? If the mission goes as planned, the capsule is expected to reach the moon on the 6th of April, the 6th day of the mission. The crewed Orion capsule will then fly around the moon, reaching its closest point before beginning the journey back to Earth, with splashdown expected on the 10th of April this year.
To the Deep Space Network today.
Coming back to some local news, former Eastern Province Chief Minister Sivanesathurey Chandrakantan alias Pillayan was remanded today. He was remanded after he was produced before Mount Lavinia Magistrate Prasanna Amarasena today.
The magistrate ordered that he be remanded until further instructions from the Attorney General are received. Pillayan had been held in custody of the Criminal Investigation Department for 359 days in connection with the investigations into the Easter Sunday attacks. General Secretary of the Samagi Janabalawegya, Ranjit Madhumabandara, says that he does not agree with the content of the book released by former Minister Udaya Gammanpilla, which claims to reveal the mastermind behind the Easter Sunday attack. The General Secretary made these remarks against a backdrop where his party leader and leader of the opposition, Sajith Premadasa, had participated in the event to launch the book. Leader of the opposition, Sajith Premadasa, attended the launch of Udaya Gammanpilla's book, which claims to reveal the mastermind behind the Easter Sunday attack. Former Presidents Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Maithripala Sirisena and Mahinda Rajapaksa also attended the event. During the launch, Gammanpilla said that Zaharan Hashim was the mastermind behind the Easter Sunday terrorist attack. At a press conference held today, journalists questioned Samagi Janabalawegya General Secretary Ranjit Madhumabandara regarding the opposition leader's previous stance and his participation at this event.
What I am asking is, when someone says they are launching a book, we don't know the contents of the book on that day. We don't know what's in the book. We were invited and we went. Not just us, but all opposition parties. Just because we accepted that invitation doesn't mean we agree with the facts in this book. Udaya Gammanpilla didn't write the book in collaboration with us. He wrote it and launched it that day. Therefore, we do not agree with all the content in that book. Whatever stance we held after the Easter Sunday incident, we still hold that same stance. Who suffered because of these Sunday bombings? Who took advantage of it? In the 2019 presidential election, Gotabaya Rajapaksa used national security to take advantage of it. In 2024, Anurukumar Dissanayake took advantage by saying he would find answers. In both these instances, it was Sajith Premadasa who was disadvantaged. We want to know who the real mastermind is, who did this, and we want to punish them. We went to see who the mastermind was. But just because we went, it doesn't mean we agree. We clearly remain in our stance. We went to look into this just as we said back then. We went because an invitation was made. We are not in an agreement with some of the speeches made there. No agreement at all.
අපි එතන කරපු සමහර කතා ගැන අපි කිසිම එකගත්වයක් නැහැ. අපි කිසිම එකගත්වයක් නැහැ.
Meanwhile, SJB parliamentarian Nalin Bandara had this to say.
ඔය කට්ටිය ඔය 2020 දී පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරය දඩේම කරේ තියාගෙන ගිය කට්ටිය තමයි ඔය කට්ටිය.
That group is the same group that benefited from the Easter attack in 2020. Back then, they preached to us and the country about national security. They gained power by using national security as a cover and riding on the Easter attack. Regardless of who the mastermind is, I saw people there who should be held responsible for the attack. In fact, some of the small masterminds were present there. It is very clear that those who came to power talking about national security only to be chased away by the people are trying to take up the racist line again. They absolutely cannot escape by pinning the Easter attack on Zaharan. There was a massive force behind this beyond Zaharan. I know this because I served as the Deputy Minister of Law and Order. Even if they shed crocodile tears now by blaming Saleh, we don't know who those masterminds are. However, there is a mastermind. Those responsible are still alive. This Saleh has even filed a case against me, asking for millions in compensation for what we spoke about. Therefore, we cannot say who the mastermind is. It is the government's duty to identify who the mastermind is. This racist gang is trying to carry a racist hunt to gain power again, just like they did after Zaharan's attack. We do not agree with that at all. I do not agree.
බලය ලබා ගන්න. ඒකට කිසිසේත්ම අපි එකක නැහැ. මම එකක නැහැ.
විපක්ෂ නායකතුමා මේ ගම්මන් පිළගේ පොතේ දක්වන්න එකට යනවා. දැන් මේක රෙදියෙන් දැන් යන්න බෑනේ. එහෙම ගියානේ.
එතුමාෙන් තමයි හන්දර මං හිතන්නේ එතුමා නෙමෙයි ගියේ. මට පන්නේ ඒ අය වලින් එතුමාව දාලාද කොහෙද? එතුමාට යන්න බෑ එතනට.
දැන් ඔබතුමාගෙන් එතුමා ගියේ නැහැ කියලාද?
මං විශ්වාස කරන්නේ නැහැ එතුමා ගියා කියලා. ඒක වෙන්න බෑනේ. එතුමා කොහොමද එතනට යන්නේ?
Who is most suitable to lead opposition politics?
While our country is striving to address the challenges arising from the global crisis through various strategies, what is our opposition doing?
Just like yesterday, a press conference was organized in Colombo today under the name of the Joint Opposition, notably without the participation of the leader of the opposition or the main opposition party, the Samagi Jana Balawegaya. This media briefing consisted of a group of individuals, including Duminda Disanayaka, Anura Priyadarshanyapa and Sanjiva Edriman.
දැන් ඔබතුමා ප්‍රකාශ කරා විපක්ෂයේ විදියට දැන් ඊයේත් මාධ්‍යම තිබ්බදක් තියෙනවා දැන් මේ ලොකු හඬක් නගනවා කියලා. හැබැයි ප්‍රධාන විපක්ෂයේ විදියට සජ්ජබෙත් නැහැ විපක්ෂ නායකතුමත් නැහැ නේ ඔබතුමාලත් එක්ක.
නැති අපිට ඒක අදාළත්වයක් නැහැ දේශපාලන පක්ෂ විදියට අපි
No, that is not relevant to us as political parties. We have united all anti-government groups. We believe the leader of the opposition is also anti-government because normally that is how it should be. The leader of the opposition is not a supporter nor a member of the government. However, it is up to him and the main opposition party to decide on the program they choose to follow. But we believe that they are on the same path as we are.
එතුමලත් ඉන්නේ අපි යන මගේමයි කියලා අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා.
This is what the national organizer of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Namal Rajapaksa, had to say regarding the joint opposition.
දැන් මොකද්ද මේ ගොඩනැගිලා තියෙන ඒකාබද්ධ විපක්ෂය? මාධ්‍ය හමු තියෙනවා ඒකාබද්ධ විපක්ෂය කියලා. මොකද්ද මේ ඒකාබද්ධ විපක්ෂය?
ඉතින් අපි දකිනවා විපක්ෂ නායකතුමා තමන්ගේ විපක්ෂ ප්‍රධාන බලවේගය නැත්නම් විපක්ෂ නායකවරයා විදිහට තමන්ගේ කටයුතු කරනවා. ඒ වගේම විපක්ෂයේ සවත් කණ්ඩායමක් එකතු වෙලා ඒකාබද්ධ විපක්ෂ විදිහට කටයුතු කරනවා. ඒ වගේම මහජන හඬ විදිහට තවත් කණ්ඩායමක් කටයුතු කරනවා. ඉතින් ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොත් ජන පෙරමුණ මේ රටේ ජනතාවගේ පැත්තේ ඉඳලා ජනතාවගේ ප්‍රශ්න කතා කරන ඕනෑම වේදිකාවක බලවේගයක් බවට අපි ඉන්නවා.
News first with the people. Paving paths and changing destinies. Gamata. For the people. By the people.
The Government Medical Officers Association launched a token strike from 8 a.m. today. Speaking to the media, GMOA spokesperson Dr. Chamil Vijayasinghe said the strike is rather a protest against the Ministry of Health's alleged violations of proper procedures in transferring doctors.
The Government Medical Officers Association staged a strike on the 31st March as well. They later called it off, warning that further action would follow if the Ministry of Health did not intervene to resolve the issues. They resumed their strike action today from 8 a.m. The strike did not affect maternity and children's hospitals, the Maharagama Apeksha Hospital, special kidney units, military hospitals or the National Institute of Mental Health.
The
transfer process of doctors through the transfer boards has been altered by the Minister of Health through his direct personal intervention. He has prioritized his personal interests, subordinated the placement of doctors entirely to his will, and turned the entire process into a complete mess. Patients faced hardships due to the strike action today.
එත්තෙමිතින් අපි අසරණ අපි මේ ඉතාමත් අසරණ තත්ත්වයට පත් වෙනවා මේ වගේ සිද්ධ වෙනකොට මේ වගේ වෙනකොට වෛද්‍යවරුත් පොඩ්ඩක් අපි මේ ආයතනය දැනුවත් කරන්න දැනගන්න ඕන මේ අපි බොහොම අමාරුවෙන් මුදල් හොයාගෙන තමයි මෙතෙන්ට එන්නේ එන බස් කුලිය හරි අපි අමාරුවෙන් හොයාගන්නේ
මෙහෙම යනවා නම් ජීඑම් එකකට ඕන විදිහට රට පාලනය කරන්න වෙලා තියෙන්නේ මේක තමන්ගේ අයිතිවාසිකම් ඉල්ල ගන්න ඒක වෙනම කතාවක් අපි කියන්නේ අයිතිවාසිකම් වෙනුවෙන් පෙනී හිටින්න එපා කියලා පෙනී හිටින්න හැබැයි මේ විදිහට ජනතාව අසීරුවට පත් කරලා මේ අහිංසක රෝගීන්ගේ මේ කරමතින් ගිහින් මේ ගන්න දිනා ගන්න අයිතිවාසිකම් මොකද්ද?
Minister of Health Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa says the trade union action is baseless. The Government Medical Officers Association had no reasonable cause for this strike, acting instead to politically embarrass the government. We are in the process of providing appointments to doctors who have completed their internships. They have been given a time to apply, with the application period ending on Saturday at 12 noon. The Ministry of Health has prepared and published the list of available positions, including difficult work locations. This strike has no basis and benefits no one. Doctors who do not apply by the deadline will not enter government service, and their current hospital postings and salaries will end. Targeting these 453 doctors, spreading fear and circulating distorted information is extremely unfair and inhumane.
රජයේ වෛද්‍යවරයෙක් හැටියට එන්න ඕමනාවක් තිබෙනවා නම් සෙන්සුරා දවල් 12 වෙනකන් ඉල්ලුම් කිරීමේ හැකියාව පවතිනවා.
Protect our cricket.
The crisis engulfing Sri Lankan cricket is intensifying day by day. Civil activists exposing corruption and fraud are taking formal steps to lodge complaints with the relevant authorities. And it's not just investigations into corrupt practices. Players linked to this Sri Lankan cricket crony network are now also facing legal action.
A complaint was filed today with the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption regarding the corruption, irregularities and financial mismanagement revealed in the COPE Committee report on Sri Lanka cricket. The complaint was filed by a group of social activists.
We began with a protest, then went twice to the Presidential Secretariat. We have also signed a petition with nearly 20,000 people signing it. This has now become a significant struggle. If anyone thinks we have abandoned this fight, we have not. And we will not. Today we are filing the first formal complaint. According to this report, the Surya Vava Stadium, also called the Mahinda Rajapaksa Stadium, was shaped and allocated through commissions in favour of Mahinda Rajapaksa. It is a stadium built with public funds, and all the details are included in the report. Then there is the Cricket Fund. Where is this fund? The Cricket Aid or Cricket Fund has major issues. Advisors were appointed without proper approval or verification of basic qualifications. Fixed assets valued at 5 billion rupees were registered but not properly maintained. This is documented in the Auditor General's report. From today onwards, we entrust Commissioner Ranga Dissanayake at the Bribery and Corruption Commission to conduct a transparent investigation and ensure that everyone accountable is brought to justice. This is not just a game. Cricket is a major business. The resources have been distributed among relatives, brothers and friends. This is essentially a mafia and it must be dismantled.
මේක සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ඒ කියන්නේ මාෆියා එකක්. මේ මාෆියා එක බිඳ වට්ටන්න ඕනේ. අපි මේකදී බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Our hope is that as we have pursued bribery issues, we will continue to follow up with the CID. We will also take these matters to the CID and continue to push for action until justice is delivered to the cricket fans and people of this country who love this sport. Our faith rests solely with the President.
Meanwhile, a group of officials from the Sri Lanka Ports Authority arrived at the Sports Integrity Unit today to provide statements in connection with the ongoing investigation into the renaming of the Ports Authority Sports Club as Ace Capital, as well as matters raised before the Corp Committee. A senior official at the unit said that investigations are focusing on players and coaches receiving salaries, allowances and privileges under the Ports Authority while participating in competitions under the name Ace Capital. Meanwhile, Sri Lankan fast bowler Nuwan Thushara today filed a case before the Colombo District Court seeking an order to permit him to participate in the 2026 Indian Premier League. The respondents in the case include Sri Lanka Cricket President Shammi Silva, Secretary Bandula Dissanayaka, Treasurer Sujiva Godaliyadda and Chief Executive Officer Ashley De Silva. The complaint further states that he participated in the IPL in 2024 and 2025 and has been selected to represent Royal Challengers Bangalore for the current season. It also notes that his contract with Sri Lanka Cricket expired in March this year and that he does not intend to enter a new contract going forward. He has also indicated his intention to retire from international cricket. The case is scheduled to be taken up again on the 9th of April. Meanwhile, former Sri Lankan A-team coach Avishka Gunawardena informed Sri Lanka Cricket last Tuesday of his decision to resign from his position. Over the past 2 years, the Sri Lanka Cricket Crony Network has recruited multiple coaches, and the current state of the sport clearly reflects the outcome of those decisions. Sri Lanka Cricket's once respected international reputation is now being systemically eroded due to this crony capitalism.
And with that, we will wrap up Primetime News for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.